The Truman Show, or if Descartes and Kant were directors in the film industry. Do you ever wonder if your life is a big lie and everyone in your life is in it to trick you? Or maybe you feel like you're being followed, watched, manipulated? If the answer is yes, then this video might be for you. Hello and welcome to a philosophical analysis of the 1998 science fiction movie The Truman Show. In this video, we will briefly cover the plot of the movie, and then we will get through the philosophical concepts that exist in it, along with the philosophers of these theories, Rene Descartes and Immanuel Kant. Let's go ahead and start with the movie. Spoiler alert. First of all, let's go ahead with the plot. Truman Burbank, who is played by Jim Carrey, is an insurance salesman who leads quite an ordinary life. He lives in a very polite community in this island that you see here in the photo called Sea Haven. And, well, at least he thinks he lives in this reality. The truth is that Truman's entire life, since he was actually in the womb, is part of the TV show about him called The Truman Show. His every move is captured by thousands of cameras around the island and is broadcasted around the world 24/7. Sea Haven is actually a studio set where, from the sun rising onto the fake sky to the temperature changes, everything is controlled by the director Christoph, who orchestrates his life. When a couple of incidents start to happen, Truman starts to feel like something is wrong, and he begins to notice patterns in his life and how they changed abruptly based on his actions. By the end of the movie, Truman realizes that something is wrong, although he doesn't know exactly what it is. But upon trying to escape, in one last attempt to keep him from leaving, the director Christoph tells him the truth. Let's move on to the philosophers. First, we have Rene Descartes, who was a French philosopher, scientist, and mathematician, and he is widely considered to be an essential figure in the emergence of modern philosophy and science. The concepts of his we will talk about today are from his book Meditations on First Philosophy that was published in 1641. And on the other hand, we have Immanuel Kant, who was a German philosopher and considered to be one of the central thinkers of the Age of Enlightenment, or like the Age of Reason. And the book of his that we will consider today is The Critique of Pure Reason, which was first published in 1781 and then reworked and republished in 87. Let's start with Descartes. His favorite motto is Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am, but the more correct translation would be I am thinking, therefore I am. The Cartesian concepts that we will discuss in regards to the Truman Show are Cartesian dualism, methodical skepticism, and the concept of the evil genius. First of all, Rene Descartes is renowned for his theory of the duality between the mind and the body, and for emphasizing the importance of doubt or skepticism in the process of learning. He believed that through methodical skepticism, a person could eliminate their false beliefs. And we see a world in the Truman Show where these concepts are applied very well. First of all, Truman is part of a TV show program without actually knowing it. So the Cartesian theory holds that the mind and the body are, so the mind being the non-physical thing and the body being the physical thing, are distinct from one another. And through Truman's encounters and observations in the world, the show explores this idea because things happen in Truman's life, conflicting events that kind of question Truman's perception of reality and force him to make actions that are just different from the way that he would have if this was reality, I guess. He is kind of cut off from the world and he is tortured by this sense that he is cut off from reality and like he's being mocked. And he starts to doubt the correctness of his experiences once these small incidents start to happen. So this disconnection from his mind and his body's experiences is the Cartesian dualism. In there are instances where we can see that Truman's perception and occurrences don't match his perception of reality. For example, when he sees a light that appears to be tracking wherever he is, he or where when the radio says everybody get in position, he is coming, and then Truman turns into the exact alley that the radio just announced, and he sees everyone stopped in a motion and then continuing when they see him. So these things happen like outside of his reality, and they separate his bodily experiences from his perception of the real world, the outside world. Um, let's see what else we have. Next, we have methodical skepticism, and how through it, Descartes believed that we can eliminate our false beliefs. Basically, Truman's circumstances are an illustration of how this is true because Truman's experiences are influenced and controlled by the show's creators, and what Truman believes to be reality is actually an illusion. So, if we by applying actually Descartes' technique of methodical skepticism, which Truman did when, on the journey to learn the truth about his world, he started doubting um, every assumption that he ever had and every belief that he had about how his world functions. And in the end, this skepticism and this doubt helped him escape this deception of reality and achieve a greater knowledge and comprehension of what the world might really be. And the last point from Cartesian philosophy is the concept of the evil genius. Descartes challenged this notion that we have a certain knowledge of the world around us, and there is an evil genius, this all meaning being that is deceiving us. Like this being's goal is to manipulate us and mislead all of our experiences and beliefs. Truman's existence and Christoph's existence is a manifestation of this evil genius because Christoph is quite literally, actually, in the show, the evil genius who has created the Truman Show. And he manipulates and orchestrates all of Truman's life, all of his experiences, all of his fears, his interactions with other people. And that's why Truman is led to, through all of these things happening around him, he is led to believe that this is his reality, when in fact he is, we can say through Descartes' philosophy, that he is being deceived. So, yes, that those are the parts of Cartesian philosophy that we can see in the Truman Show. And next, we will go on to Immanuel Kant. In his book, The Critique of Pure Reason, we have the theories of phenomena and noumena, which we will explore in a minute. Immanuel Kant's motto is sapere aude, which very loosely translates to dare to be wise or dare to know. So, as I said, in Kantian philosophy, we have the phenomena and noumena and how these happen in the Truman Show. So, the phenomena, as explained by Kant, is how things appear to us through our senses. So, basically, we perceive things in a certain way, and based on multiple similar perceptions of the same thing, we create an idea of what the thing is. And then we have the noumenon, or how things actually exist in themselves. Kant argues that we can't actually know what we cannot perceive. because our mind is limited. There is a limitation to our perceptions, and therefore our knowledge of how things actually exist in themselves. We don't have a knowledge of how things exist in themselves, and our knowledge of how things are is formed by our perceptions and how things appear to us through our senses, so phenomenon. This can be applied to the Truman Show because Truman's reality is created by his perceptions of how the world is, and therefore he lives in the phenomena. But the outside world is how reality actually is, and Truman doesn't have access to that, and he doesn't, at least in the beginning of the movie, he doesn't have a reason to doubt his reality. So he doesn't even think that another reality could exist and that he is part of something within that reality. So we can say that Truman's reality is the phenomena, and the actual reality, the outside world that he cannot access, is the noumena. And that is how we can apply Descartes and Kant's philosophy to the Truman Show. Thank you very much for watching. And as Truman says, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.